In today's hybrid work environment, effective stakeholder communication is essential for projects' success. As teams navigate the complexities of remote and in-person interactions, mastering communication strategies becomes crucial for any project manager. This course explores key principles and best practices for enhancing stakeholder engagement, ensuring clarity, and fostering collaboration in hybrid settings. Mastering stakeholder communication in hybrid environments. Introduction. Understanding the hybrid work shift. Briefly explain the shift toward hybrid work environments post-pandemic and how it has transformed workplace communication. Importance of effective stakeholder communication. Introduce the concept of stakeholders in project management and why they are integral to project success. Challenges of hybrid communication. Highlight the unique challenges of communicating across in-person and remote setups, including differences in accessibility, engagement, and collaboration. Let's take a look at each one of them. Understanding the hybrid work shift. The past few years have transformed how we view the workplace. Once dominated by a 9-to-5 in-office structure, the traditional work model was radically challenged by the global pandemic, which forced many organizations to adapt quickly to remote setups. Now, as companies navigate post-pandemic realities, a hybrid work model where employees split their time between office and remote locations has emerged as a popular and effective solution. This shift has fundamentally reshaped expectations, team dynamics, and, crucially, stakeholder communication in project management. 1. Why hybrid work took hold. Hybrid work is a direct response to the evolving demands of the modern workforce. Many employees have discovered that working remotely allows for greater flexibility, productivity, and a better work-life balance. Simultaneously, organizations benefit by reducing overhead costs associated with maintaining large office spaces and accessing a global talent pool without geographical limitations. This setup combines the benefits of remote work with the advantages of in-person interaction, creating a more adaptable and responsive workforce. In the hybrid model, employees can leverage the advantages of working from anywhere while preserving the opportunity for face-to-face collaboration, which remains vital for team cohesion, brainstorming, and complex problem-solving. For project managers, however, the hybrid structure introduces new communication challenges, especially when coordinating between stakeholders who may have varying levels of access and availability depending on their location. 2. Impact on stakeholder communication. Stakeholders in a hybrid work environment may be in different physical locations, time zones, or even countries, making it harder to rely on traditional, synchronous communication methods like in office meetings. This shift affects several key aspects of project management, including transparency and accountability in a dispersed setting. Ensuring that everyone has access to the same information can be challenging. Maintaining transparency requires a deliberate approach, as asynchronous communication channels, such as email, project management tools, and shared dashboards, must be used to keep stakeholders informed, regardless of where they are working. Building and maintaining trust. For project success, stakeholders must trust both the project manager and each other. With limited in-person interaction, building rapport and trust can require more effort, especially for remote stakeholders who may feel excluded from decisions made by those physically present. Ensuring consistent engagement. Project managers must ensure that remote and in-office stakeholders feel equally valued and engaged. Hybrid models can sometimes create an us versus them dynamic, with remote participants feeling marginalized compared to those who work on site. Effective communication strategies are essential to keep everyone engaged and prevent this divide. 3. The role of technology in hybrid communication. Technology is the backbone of the hybrid work model. Tools like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Slack, and Asana have become integral to maintaining consistent communication and collaboration. These tools allow project managers to bridge the gap between remote and in-office stakeholders, enabling them to hold virtual meetings, share real-time updates, and manage tasks across different locations. However, reliance on digital tools also brings challenges, such as digital fatigue and the risk of information overload, which can impede productivity if not managed properly. Key challenges in the hybrid communication shift. 1. Information silos with team members working from different locations. There is an increased risk of information silos, where essential details may be missed by certain team members. This can lead to misunderstandings, duplicated efforts, or missed deadlines. A structured approach to documentation and regular updates can mitigate this risk. 2. Overcoming proximity bias. Proximity bias refers to the unconscious tendency to favor those who are physically closer or more visible. In a hybrid setting, project managers need to be vigilant about involving all stakeholders, whether remote or on-site, to avoid unequal treatment and ensure all voices are heard. 3. Digital fatigue and engagement. The hybrid model often relies on video meetings, emails, and messaging platforms, which can lead to digital fatigue. Maintaining stakeholder engagement without overwhelming them with constant notifications is a balancing act that project managers must carefully navigate. Section 1. Defining stakeholders in the hybrid workplace. Identifying key stakeholders. How to identify stakeholders and categorize them. E.g. primary, secondary, tertiary. Understanding stakeholder expectations and needs provide a framework for mapping out stakeholder needs in a hybrid work environment. Analyzing communication preferences. Discuss how to determine communication preferences, such as frequency and format. Video, email, face-to-face, which can vary based on stakeholders' roles and locations. Let's take a look at each one of them. Defining stakeholders in the hybrid workplace. In project management, stakeholders are individuals or groups with an interest in the project's success and outcome. They may include team members, executives, clients, suppliers, and other relevant parties. In a hybrid work environment, where individuals may operate in various physical or digital spaces, identifying and engaging stakeholders effectively is essential for maintaining alignment and ensuring project success. Here's a comprehensive look at defining and understanding stakeholders within the hybrid workplace. 1. Identifying key stakeholders in a hybrid setting. In a traditional work environment, identifying stakeholders can be straightforward, as physical proximity often makes roles and influence more apparent. However, in a hybrid model, stakeholders may be less visible, especially if they primarily work remotely. To ensure that all critical voices are included, project managers need to systematically identify stakeholders based on their roles, interests, and level of impact on the project. Key types of stakeholders to consider in a hybrid workplace include primary stakeholders. These are individuals directly involved in and affected by the project's outcome. They include team members, project sponsors, and customers or end users. They typically require frequent updates and engagement. Secondary stakeholders. This group comprises individuals who may not be directly involved, but have an interest in the project's progress, such as departmental heads, cross-functional team members, and contractors. They need regular but less frequent updates to understand how the project aligns with broader organizational goals. Tertiary stakeholders. Tertiary stakeholders are those indirectly impacted by the project or who may influence its success, such as regulatory bodies, shareholders, and community members. While these stakeholders may not need ongoing updates, they should be informed of key milestones and impacts. In a hybrid setting, creating a comprehensive stakeholder map can be beneficial. This map visually represents each stakeholder's level of influence and interest, making it easier to prioritize communication efforts. Let's take a look at each one of them. Identifying key stakeholders in a hybrid setting. In a hybrid work environment, where some team members operate remotely while others work on site, identifying and managing key stakeholders becomes more complex, yet even more essential. The hybrid model creates unique challenges in visibility, alignment, and communication, making it vital for project managers to accurately identify all relevant stakeholders and understand their roles, influence, and expectations. In this section, we'll explore best practices for identifying key stakeholders in a hybrid setting and offer strategies to ensure every stakeholder is properly engaged throughout the project lifecycle. 1. Understanding stakeholder roles and influence. In any project, stakeholders are individuals or groups who can influence the project or are affected by its outcomes. In a hybrid setting, stakeholders may be less visible due to physical separation or flexible working hours, making it crucial to have a clear, structured approach for identifying all relevant parties. Stakeholders typically fall into the following categories. Primary stakeholders. These are the individuals or groups who are directly involved in the project's execution and are impacted by its success or failure. In a hybrid setting, primary stakeholders include core team members, project sponsors, and clients or end users. They are typically involved in daily activities or decision-making, so they require frequent updates and engagement. Secondary stakeholders. Secondary stakeholders play a supporting role and may include cross-functional teams, department heads, or external consultants who have an interest in the project but are not directly involved. For instance, in a technology project, the IT support team might be secondary stakeholders who need regular updates to align their resources and timelines. Tertiary stakeholders. These stakeholders are indirectly impacted by the project or have a limited influence on its outcome. Tertiary stakeholders may include regulatory bodies, local communities, or other departments indirectly affected by the project's results. Although their involvement may be minimal, keeping them informed about major project milestones can prevent unexpected disruptions or resistance later on. Understanding these roles helps project managers prioritize engagement efforts and allocate time and resources to stakeholders based on their level of involvement and influence over the project's success. 2. Using a stakeholder mapping tool for greater visibility. Stakeholder mapping is a strategic tool that helps project managers visualize relationships, roles, and influence levels within the stakeholder group. This tool can be especially beneficial in a hybrid environment, where geographical or logistical separation can lead to oversight of key players. A common approach to stakeholder mapping is the power/interest grid, which categorizes stakeholders based on two dimensions. Power, the level of influence a stakeholder has over project outcomes. Interest, the level of interest or investment a stakeholder has in the project. Stakeholders are then grouped into 4 categories on the grid: high power, high interest, key players who should be closely managed and engaged regularly. This group often includes project sponsors, executives, and core team members. High power, low interest, stakeholders with significant influence, who may not be actively engaged in day-to-day activities but require regular updates to maintain their support. Examples include senior leaders or regulatory bodies. Low power, high interest, stakeholders who are highly engaged with the project but may have limited influence over its outcomes. They typically include end users, remote team members, or supporting departments who benefit from regular updates. Low power, low interest, stakeholders with minimal influence or involvement, such as tertiary stakeholders who may only need information at key milestones. By plotting stakeholders on this grid, project managers can visually prioritize their communication and engagement strategy, ensuring that highly influential or interested stakeholders receive appropriate attention and that no critical connections are overlooked. 3. Leveraging digital tools for hybrid stakeholder management. Hybrid work environments often rely on digital tools to keep stakeholders connected and informed, regardless of location. Using the right tools to facilitate stakeholder management can help ensure smooth collaboration, especially in situations where face-to-face interactions are limited. Some popular tools for hybrid stakeholder management include project management software. Platforms like Asana, Trello, or Microsoft Project allow project managers to assign tasks, set deadlines, and track progress, making it easy for stakeholders to stay informed about their responsibilities. These platforms often come with built-in communication features that keep all stakeholders in the loop. Collaboration tools like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom help create a virtual workspace where stakeholders can interact, ask questions, and receive updates in real time. These platforms can be particularly useful for engaging remote stakeholders who may otherwise feel disconnected from in-office activities. Document sharing solutions. Google Drive, SharePoint, and Dropbox enable centralized document storage, ensuring stakeholders can access relevant project documents, reports, and updates. This accessibility is key in hybrid settings, where stakeholders may work from different time zones or have varied schedules. These tools provide structure and visibility, making it easier for project managers to manage stakeholder interactions efficiently in a hybrid environment. By leveraging these digital resources, project managers can ensure that all stakeholders, regardless of location, are kept informed and engaged throughout the project lifecycle. 4. Conducting a stakeholder analysis for customized engagement. A stakeholder analysis goes a step beyond identification by assessing each stakeholder's needs, concerns, and preferred communication methods. This analysis helps project managers tailor engagement strategies to each stakeholder, maximizing the effectiveness of their communication efforts. The stakeholder analysis process in a hybrid setting generally includes the following steps. Identify each stakeholder's goals and expectations. Each stakeholder may have specific expectations or objectives for the project. For example, a project sponsor might focus on budget and timelines, while a team member might be more concerned with task management and workload distribution. Understanding these expectations allows project managers to address each stakeholder's unique concerns. Determine communication preferences. Each stakeholder may prefer different communication channels and frequencies. For instance, some may prefer daily updates through chat, while others prefer a weekly email summary. Flexibility in communication methods helps accommodate both in-office and remote stakeholders, ensuring they receive updates in ways that work best for them. Identify potential obstacles. Hybrid environments can present challenges, such as time zone differences, technology access, or limited face-to-face interaction. A stakeholder analysis should include an assessment of potential barriers for each stakeholder, allowing project managers to proactively address these issues with alternative solutions. Completing a stakeholder analysis before the project begins helps project managers develop a clear engagement plan tailored to the needs and preferences of each stakeholder. This customization builds trust and ensures stakeholders remain committed to the project's success. 5. Creating a stakeholder engagement plan for hybrid environments. Once stakeholders are identified, a clear engagement plan outlines how and when each stakeholder will be involved in the project. A stakeholder engagement plan can help project managers manage interactions systematically, especially in hybrid settings where engagement consistency can be challenging to maintain. An effective stakeholder engagement plan for a hybrid environment should include stakeholder groups and responsibilities. Define each group's role in the project, specifying tasks, responsibilities, and expected contributions. This helps stakeholders understand their influence on the project and allows project managers to assign tasks accordingly. Communication schedule. Outline a communication cadence for each group based on their level of involvement and influence. For example, weekly updates might be scheduled for primary stakeholders, while secondary stakeholders receive monthly summaries. Preferred communication channels clearly indicate which communication channels will be used for each group, e.g., Slack for team members, email for executives, Zoom for cross-functional updates. Consistency in using these channels helps stakeholders know where to expect updates and participate in discussions. Feedback mechanisms establish regular feedback loops to gather stakeholder insights and address concerns. Hybrid environments may benefit from virtual Q&A sessions, surveys, or one-on-one check-ins that provide a platform for stakeholders to voice questions and share feedback. Developing and implementing a stakeholder engagement plan in a hybrid setting provides clarity, structure, and flexibility, ensuring that all stakeholders feel connected and that project information flows efficiently across various work environments. Identifying key stakeholders in a hybrid setting requires a combination of structured tools, digital resources, and customized engagement strategies. By recognizing the diverse needs of each stakeholder group, project managers can foster a collaborative and inclusive environment, promoting alignment and support for the project's goals. With these steps in place, hybrid teams can overcome the challenges of distributed work and achieve successful outcomes that satisfy all stakeholders. 2. Understanding stakeholder expectations and needs. Stakeholders' expectations and needs may vary widely, especially in a hybrid environment, where some may have more direct interaction with the project, while others remain distant. A tailored approach to stakeholder engagement helps meet these diverse needs effectively. Engagement levels gauge each stakeholder's desired level of engagement. Some stakeholders may want to be deeply involved in decisions and problem-solving, while others may only need periodic updates. This varies by stakeholder role, project phase, and individual preferences. Preferred communication frequency and format. Understand how often each stakeholder prefers to be contacted and in what format. For example, executives may prefer concise, high-level updates, while team members might require more detailed, frequent communication. For stakeholders working remotely, consider digital channels like video meetings, shared documents, or asynchronous messaging. Outcome expectations. Each stakeholder may have different expectations about the project's outcome. A customer may focus on the final product's quality, while an executive may prioritize the budget and timeline. By clearly understanding these expectations, project managers can better align their communication strategies to meet stakeholder needs. Establishing these insights upfront can prevent misunderstandings and help foster a sense of alignment across the hybrid team. Let's take a look at each one of them. Understanding stakeholder expectations and needs. Effectively understanding and managing stakeholder expectations and needs is crucial for successful project outcomes, especially in a hybrid work environment. In hybrid teams, where some members work remotely while others are on site, bridging gaps in expectations requires a strategic approach. Different stakeholders will have unique goals, communication preferences, and engagement requirements, all influenced by their roles, responsibilities, and the level of impact they expect from the project. By thoroughly understanding these needs, project managers can create a cohesive environment where every stakeholder feels informed, valued, and aligned with the project's objectives. 1. Identifying key expectations for different stakeholder groups. Stakeholders in a project can range from direct participants, like team members, to indirect influencers, such as executives or clients. Each group has its unique set of expectations, which are essential to acknowledge and address. Executive stakeholders. Executives often expect high-level insights focused on strategic alignment, ROI, and risk management. They are typically more concerned with the project's impact on the organization as a whole, including how it aligns with long-term goals. Their expectation is usually for timely, concise updates that highlight the project's performance against key metrics such as budget, timeline, and expected outcomes. Project team members are directly involved in the day-to-day tasks and need clear, actionable guidance on deliverables, timelines, and roles. They expect frequent and detailed communication to keep them aligned on specific responsibilities and any changes to the project scope or deadlines. Team members also expect their contributions to be acknowledged, as this helps build morale and keeps them engaged. Clients or customers. Clients often expect the project to meet their specifications, timelines, and quality standards. They need reassurance that the project is progressing as planned and that any risks or issues are being effectively managed. Clients may expect detailed updates, particularly at milestones or decision points, to ensure that the project aligns with their business needs. Cross-functional teams or supporting departments. These stakeholders may not be directly involved in the project, but have an interest in its outcome, particularly if it affects their work. They expect clarity on the project's timeline, objectives, and any dependencies that might impact their teams. Clear and consistent updates help manage their expectations regarding resource availability and workflow impacts. Understanding these distinct expectations allows project managers to tailor communication strategies, ensuring each group receives the type of information that matters most to them. 2. Each stakeholder's needs will vary depending on their role within the project and the degree of influence they have on the project's success. By categorizing stakeholders based on their level of impact and involvement, project managers can better prioritize and address these needs effectively. High impact, high influence stakeholders. These stakeholders are usually involved in decision-making processes and have significant influence over the project's trajectory. They need frequent, detailed updates that cover key metrics, potential risks, and strategic milestones. Project managers should engage with these stakeholders early and often to ensure alignment and gain buy-in for critical decisions. Moderate impact, moderate influence stakeholders. These individuals or groups may not make final decisions, but contribute essential expertise, resources, or support. Their needs revolve around understanding how the project impacts their functions or departments. Consistent, moderate-level communication helps keep them informed and minimizes potential bottlenecks, especially in cross-functional projects. Low impact, low-influence stakeholders. These stakeholders may be indirectly affected by the project's outcome, but do not have significant influence or direct involvement. Their needs typically involve periodic updates that inform them of major milestones or completion dates. Engaging them occasionally ensures they are aware of the project's general progress without overloading them with details. Creating a stakeholder needs matrix can be an effective tool to categorize stakeholders by their level of influence and need, helping prioritize communication efforts and customize updates to match each group's expectations. 3. Determining communication frequency and format. The frequency and format of communication can greatly impact stakeholder satisfaction and engagement, especially in a hybrid work environment. Meeting these preferences requires balancing the need for inclusivity with respect for stakeholders' time and attention. Regular updates for high-engagement stakeholders. High-impact stakeholders may require weekly or even daily updates, depending on the project's phase and complexity. Project managers should leverage detailed data-rich formats like dashboards, progress reports, or in-depth video calls for these stakeholders. Periodic briefings for moderate engagement stakeholders. Stakeholders with moderate engagement typically benefit from bi-weekly or monthly updates. Summaries, visual progress indicators, or brief check-ins via email or chat can keep them in the loop without overwhelming them with information. Milestone-based updates for low-engagement stakeholders. Low-impact stakeholders typically need updates only at major project milestones or completion. A monthly summary report or quarterly review meeting is often sufficient to keep them informed. Determining the right balance of communication frequency ensures that each stakeholder feels informed and valued without experiencing information fatigue. Using communication tools like Slack channels, email newsletters, or shared project management software also facilitates a more seamless, structured information flow. 4. Engaging stakeholders with transparent and consistent updates. Building trust with stakeholders in a hybrid environment relies on transparent and consistent communication. For each update, consider the following practices. Transparency in reporting. Clearly communicate both successes and challenges. If the project encounters delays or budget concerns, openly share these with stakeholders, along with the corrective measures being taken. Transparency helps stakeholders manage their expectations and strengthens trust. Regular checkpoints and feedback loops. Schedule regular checkpoints to discuss the project's progress and gather feedback. Engaging stakeholders in these discussions provides a valuable opportunity for them to voice concerns or suggestions, which can be critical for keeping the project on track. Accessible information archives with stakeholders in different locations. Project documents, meeting notes, and updates should be stored in accessible, centralized locations. Platforms like SharePoint, Google Drive, or project management software allow all stakeholders to access necessary information on demand, reducing the risk of missed updates. Maintaining transparency and consistency in communication reassures stakeholders that the project is progressing steadily and that any potential issues are being proactively managed. 5. Adapting to evolving stakeholder needs over time. As the project progresses, stakeholder needs and expectations may change, especially in response to evolving project demands, external influences, or shifts in organizational priorities. Regularly reevaluating stakeholder expectations helps project managers stay attuned to these shifts and adjust their engagement strategies accordingly. Quarterly or milestone-based check-ins. Set aside time at key project milestones or quarterly intervals to reassess stakeholder expectations and gauge satisfaction with the communication strategy. This allows the project team to adapt their approach as needed. Feedback surveys or informal discussions. Use feedback surveys or informal discussions to solicit insights from stakeholders on their communication preferences and satisfaction. Incorporating this feedback into future interactions enhances stakeholder alignment and satisfaction. Flexibility in communication plans. Hybrid environments require flexibility. If a stakeholder's role changes or they transition from remote to in-office work, or vice versa, adjusting communication channels and frequency is crucial to accommodate their new needs. By proactively adapting to evolving stakeholder needs, project managers can foster stronger, more resilient stakeholder relationships, ensuring that all participants remain aligned with the project's goals from start to finish. Understanding and meeting stakeholder expectations in a hybrid workplace is both a science and an art. It involves assessing and prioritizing each stakeholder's needs, tailoring communication frequency and formats, and creating a transparent, adaptable strategy. By investing time in these efforts, project managers can navigate the complexities of hybrid work, building trust, alignment, and engagement that ultimately lead to successful project outcomes. 3. Analyzing communication preferences and barriers. With hybrid setups, stakeholders may vary in their communication preferences, influenced by factors such as their role, familiarity with digital tools, and work location. Analyzing these preferences ensures that each stakeholder remains engaged and informed. Communication platforms. Different stakeholders may be accustomed to various platforms. For example, some may prefer email for official updates, while others might prefer Slack or Teams for quicker exchanges. It's important to identify which tools stakeholders are most comfortable with, and, when possible, Align project communications to these preferences. Time zone and availability considerations. In a hybrid environment, stakeholders may work in different time zones or have varied work hours, especially if the team includes both remote and in-office members. Recognizing these scheduling factors allows project managers to plan synchronous meetings at convenient times or use asynchronous updates when real-time meetings aren't possible. Accessibility and technology limitations. Not all stakeholders have access to the same technological resources. Some may have reliable high-speed internet and access to a quiet workspace, while others may face connectivity challenges or distractions at home. Project managers should remain flexible, offering alternatives like phone calls or asynchronous collaboration tools to accommodate different accessibility needs. By assessing and adapting to these preferences and limitations, project managers can create a more inclusive communication approach, ensuring that all stakeholders can engage effectively, regardless of their work location or technological resources. Let's take a look at each one of them. Analyzing communication preferences and barriers. In a hybrid work environment, communication is often complicated by a mix of in-office and remote participants, each with unique preferences and potential barriers. Effective stakeholder communication requires a thorough analysis of these preferences and an understanding of any obstacles that could hinder engagement and alignment. By assessing and accommodating diverse communication needs, project managers can create a more cohesive and connected stakeholder group, ultimately improving project outcomes. This section delves into strategies for understanding communication preferences and overcoming barriers in a hybrid setting. 1. Assessing individual communication preferences. Each stakeholder may have distinct preferences when it comes to how, when, and through what medium they receive information. Understanding and adapting to these preferences is particularly important in hybrid work settings, where lack of alignment can quickly lead to communication gaps. Key steps in assessing stakeholder communication preferences include surveying stakeholders early in the project. Conduct a survey or initiate informal discussions to gather information on each stakeholder's preferred communication methods, frequency of updates, and ideal times for check-ins. For instance, some may prefer receiving updates via email, while others may find direct messaging platforms like Slack or Teams more convenient. Observing past interactions, reviewing previous communication patterns with each stakeholder can provide valuable insights. Some stakeholders may have shown a preference for scheduled, structured meetings, while others might favor quick, real-time updates. Observing these tendencies helps ensure communication is tailored to their comfort. Considering role-specific needs, the role of each stakeholder in the project may influence their preferred communication style. For instance, senior leaders may favor high-level summaries over frequent detailed updates, while team members involved in day-to-day tasks may benefit from regular, in-depth communication. This individualized approach helps ensure that each stakeholder remains informed in a way that respects their communication style and availability, fostering a more efficient and engaging environment. 2. Leveraging multiple communication channels. A hybrid environment requires flexibility in communication methods. Using a variety of channels helps project managers reach each stakeholder in their preferred format while also ensuring redundancy. Key channels commonly used in hybrid settings include email, ideal for formal updates, summaries, and sharing essential documents. Email is especially useful for stakeholders who may be less involved in daily activities but need to stay informed at key milestones. Instant messaging, platforms like Slack, Microsoft Teams, or WhatsApp facilitate real-time communication and quick responses, making them valuable for team members working on immediate tasks. These tools can also create virtual water cooler spaces for informal discussions, enhancing engagement. Video conferencing, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meet allow for face-to-face interactions, which are essential for building trust and clarifying complex information. Regular video calls can help bridge the gap for remote stakeholders who may miss out on in-office discussions. Project management tools like Asana, Trello, and Monday.com provide a centralized hub where stakeholders can track project progress, check task statuses, and view deadlines. These tools support asynchronous work, which is critical for hybrid teams with varied schedules and time zones. Using a mix of these channels allows project managers to tailor communications based on stakeholder needs, minimizing the risk of missed information while promoting inclusivity in the hybrid setting. 3. Addressing communication barriers in hybrid settings. Hybrid work environments come with inherent challenges that can disrupt communication, including time zone differences, technology access, and varying levels of engagement. Project managers must proactively address these barriers to create a level playing field for all stakeholders. Common barriers and strategies to address them include time zone differences for projects involving stakeholders in different regions. Scheduling live meetings at convenient times for everyone can be challenging. To accommodate diverse schedules, consider rotating meeting times or recording sessions for later viewing. Use asynchronous tools like project management software or shared documents for updates that stakeholders can access at their convenience. Technology access and familiarity. Some stakeholders may have limited access to certain tools or may not be comfortable using them. To bridge this gap, ensure that all stakeholders have the necessary tools and provide training or resources to increase their comfort level with new technology. A technology onboarding session early in the project can help set everyone up for success. Lack of nonverbal cues. Remote communication often lacks the nonverbal cues present in face-to-face interactions, leading to potential misunderstandings. Encourage stakeholders to use video calls for important discussions where visual cues are valuable, and promote clear, concise communication in written messages. Additionally, incorporating emojis in informal messaging platforms can help convey tone and intent more clearly. Varying levels of engagement. Some stakeholders may feel isolated or less involved due to remote work arrangements. To enhance engagement, establish regular check-ins, create dedicated channels for feedback, and invite stakeholders to participate in discussions actively. Celebrating small wins and acknowledging individual contributions also reinforces a sense of involvement. By anticipating and addressing these barriers, project managers can foster a smoother communication flow that respects each stakeholder's circumstances, ultimately leading to better collaboration in hybrid environments. 4. Creating a communication plan tailored to hybrid needs. A well-defined communication plan serves as a blueprint for effective stakeholder engagement, outlining how, when, and where information will be shared. In a hybrid setting, a communication plan should be tailored to address both remote and on-site stakeholders, ensuring a balanced approach that keeps everyone informed and engaged. Key elements of a communication plan for hybrid settings include defined communication goals. Set clear objectives for each communication, whether it's to update on progress, solicit feedback, or align stakeholders on key decisions. Aligning the message to specific goals helps streamline communication and prevents unnecessary updates. Scheduled communication cadence. Establish a regular cadence for updates based on the project phase and stakeholder needs. For example, you might schedule weekly progress updates for primary stakeholders, monthly briefings for secondary stakeholders, and milestone reports for tertiary stakeholders. Preferred channels and formats. Specify the channels and formats to be used for each type of communication. For example, project status updates could be shared via email, while brainstorming sessions are conducted over video calls. Setting these expectations reduces the risk of miscommunication and creates consistency. Feedback loops ensure that stakeholders have an opportunity to provide feedback regularly. This can be done through virtual feedback sessions, surveys, or suggestion forms, giving stakeholders an avenue to voice concerns or ask questions without needing to wait for formal meetings. A customized communication plan enables project managers to maintain a rhythm of engagement and transparency, adapting to the needs of a hybrid audience and reducing the risk of stakeholders feeling overlooked or disconnected. 5. Encouraging open communication and active listening. Effective communication is a two-way process. In a hybrid setting, encouraging stakeholders to share their perspectives and fostering a culture of active listening is key to building trust and reducing misunderstandings. Some strategies to promote open communication and active listening include: create safe spaces for dialogue, encourage stakeholders to share feedback, ask questions, and voice concerns without judgment. Creating designated feedback sessions or setting up anonymous feedback channels can help stakeholders feel more comfortable speaking up. Practice empathy in communication. Recognize the unique challenges each stakeholder may face, whether related to technology, personal obligations, or remote work constraints. Acknowledging these circumstances shows empathy and reinforces a culture of understanding and respect. Reflect and summarize key points during discussions. Especially in virtual settings, summarize key points and clarify next steps to ensure mutual understanding. This can prevent miscommunication and reinforce key messages, making everyone feel heard and valued. Encourage proactive updates. Remind stakeholders that their input is valued by encouraging them to provide updates or share insights proactively. Regular check-ins and follow-up signal that their contributions are essential to the project's success, enhancing engagement. Fostering an environment of open communication and active listening builds rapport and enhances collaboration, especially important in a hybrid setup where traditional cues and face-to-face interactions are limited. By analyzing communication preferences and addressing potential barriers, project managers can design an inclusive, adaptive communication strategy that promotes alignment and engagement across diverse work arrangements. Through proactive planning, flexible channels, and a commitment to open dialogue, hybrid project teams can maintain strong connections and work collaboratively toward shared goals. 4. Creating a stakeholder communication plan for the hybrid workplace. A well-structured stakeholder communication plan is critical to ensure consistent, effective communication in a hybrid environment. This plan outlines how, when, and through which channels stakeholders will be engaged throughout the project lifecycle. Frequency of communication. Define how often stakeholders will receive updates. Primary stakeholders might need weekly or bi-weekly updates, while secondary stakeholders may only need monthly summaries or milestone reports. Types of communication. Tailor communication content based on stakeholder needs. For instance, a project sponsor may require high-level reports focused on budget and timeline, while team members need more detailed task updates. Preferred channels indicate which channels will be used for different types of communication. For example, Zoom might be designated for major updates and decision-making discussions, while Slack could be reserved for quick, day-to-day interactions. Points of contact. Clearly outline who will be responsible for communicating with each stakeholder group. This reduces confusion, ensuring stakeholders know exactly whom to reach out to with questions or feedback. This communication plan should be a living document, revisited and updated as project dynamics or stakeholder needs evolve. In hybrid environments, maintaining flexibility in the communication plan can prevent potential issues caused by the unique challenges of remote and in-office work. Defining and understanding stakeholders in a hybrid workplace goes beyond just recognizing their roles. It requires a proactive approach to identify their expectations, preferences, and potential barriers to communication. By establishing a clear communication strategy and adapting to individual stakeholder needs, project managers can build a strong foundation for effective engagement, ensuring that all voices are heard and that project goals remain aligned across both remote and in-person teams. Let's take a look at each one of them. Creating a stakeholder communication plan for the hybrid workplace. Crafting a well-structured communication plan is critical for managing stakeholder relationships effectively, especially in hybrid workplaces where teams are distributed across remote and in-office settings. A communication plan serves as a strategic blueprint, establishing clear guidelines for how, when, and through what channels information will be shared. This ensures that stakeholders are consistently informed, engaged, and aligned with project goals. Here's how to create a robust communication plan tailored to the hybrid environment. 1. Define communication objectives. Every communication plan should begin with clear objectives that guide the purpose and focus of each interaction with stakeholders. Understanding what you want to achieve through your communication helps in crafting messages that are targeted and effective. In a hybrid setting, objectives might include keeping stakeholders informed, ensuring that stakeholders are up to date with the latest project developments and progress, building engagement, fostering active involvement and commitment from stakeholders by sharing relevant insights and milestones, encouraging feedback, creating avenues for stakeholders to express their views, concerns, and suggestions, enhancing decision-making, providing accurate, timely information to support informed decision-making processes. Clearly defined communication objectives set the tone for how to approach different types of interactions and establish a roadmap for effective engagement. 2. Identify stakeholder groups and prioritize their needs. In any project, stakeholders vary widely in their level of interest, influence, and needs. Hybrid environments, however, add another layer of complexity, as some stakeholders may be remote, while others are on-site. Start by identifying and categorizing each stakeholder group based on their role, influence, and level of involvement in the project. Then, prioritize their needs accordingly. Stakeholders are typically grouped into the following categories. Primary stakeholders. These include sponsors, clients, and senior leaders who directly influence project success. They require regular, high-level updates and strategic insights. Secondary stakeholders. This group includes project team members and department heads who need specific project details and progress updates to fulfill their roles. Tertiary stakeholders. These may include external partners or vendors who play a less direct role, but still require periodic updates to stay aligned. By prioritizing stakeholders based on their needs and project influence, you can tailor communication to be efficient, ensuring each group receives information at the appropriate level of detail and frequency. 3. Determine communication channels and frequency. The hybrid workplace necessitates a mix of synchronous and asynchronous communication channels to bridge the gap between remote and in-office stakeholders. Different channels serve different purposes, and choosing the right mix helps meet stakeholder preferences while minimizing disruptions. Here's a breakdown of common channels and their use in hybrid communication plans. Email, best suited for formal updates, documents, and written records. Use emails to distribute periodic project updates, summary reports, and any critical announcements. Instant messaging. Platforms like Microsoft Teams and Slack are ideal for quick, informal updates, questions, and clarifications. This is especially useful for remote stakeholders who may need real-time information without attending meetings. Video conferencing. Tools like Zoom or Google Meet are crucial for more personal interactions, such as progress meetings, brainstorming sessions, and milestone presentations, where facial expressions and verbal cues aid understanding. Project management software, Asana, Trello, or Microsoft Project, provide centralized tracking for project progress, task status, and deadlines, enabling stakeholders to stay informed asynchronously. In-person meetings. For stakeholders who work on site, consider occasional face-to-face meetings to discuss complex issues or foster stronger relationships. For remote participants, hybrid meetings with virtual access help maintain inclusivity. Based on the needs and preferences of each stakeholder group, establish a communication cadence that balances the flow of information without overwhelming anyone. For example, high-priority stakeholders might receive weekly updates, while tertiary stakeholders might only need monthly summaries. 4. Craft clear, consistent messaging. In hybrid communication, clarity and consistency are paramount. Each message should be clear in its purpose and aligned with previous communications to prevent misunderstandings. Develop templates or guidelines to ensure all communications reflect a consistent tone, level of detail, and format. Here are key principles for crafting clear messaging. Use simple, direct language. Avoid jargon and keep messages concise. Complex information should be broken down into digestible pieces, particularly when communicating across diverse work environments. Highlight key takeaways. Use bullet points or headings to draw attention to critical information, making it easy for stakeholders to skim and grasp the main points. Define next steps and responsibilities. Each update should outline actionable steps, timelines, and assigned responsibilities, helping stakeholders understand their roles and the project's trajectory. By standardizing the structure and content of your communication, you create a predictable flow of information that stakeholders can easily follow, whether they are on-site or remote. 5. Establish feedback mechanisms. Effective communication in a hybrid environment is a two-way street. Stakeholders should have avenues to share feedback, voice concerns, and ask questions. Feedback mechanisms help ensure that stakeholder expectations are met and that potential issues are identified early. To facilitate open lines of communication, consider these methods. Scheduled feedback sessions, regular check-ins, monthly or quarterly, dedicated to gathering stakeholder feedback can be highly valuable. This could take the form of individual meetings, focus groups, or virtual Q&A sessions. Surveys and polls. Anonymous surveys allow stakeholders to share their opinions and preferences without hesitation. Particularly useful when addressing sensitive topics or areas for improvement. Open channels for questions. Creating a dedicated chat channel or virtual inbox for stakeholder inquiries encourages questions and concerns to be raised as they arise, preventing small issues from growing into significant obstacles. Incorporating these feedback mechanisms into your plan allows for real-time adjustments to communication strategies, helping ensure the process remains agile and responsive to stakeholder needs. 6. Implement a timeline and review process. A successful communication plan isn't static. It should evolve based on project progress, stakeholder feedback, and changing hybrid dynamics. Setting up a timeline with regular reviews allows you to assess what's working and where adjustments are needed. Here's how to manage this. Schedule regular plan reviews. Establish checkpoints e.g. quarterly or at each project milestone to review the communication plan's effectiveness. This provides an opportunity to reflect on stakeholder feedback, examine engagement levels, and make any necessary updates. Adjust communication frequency if needed. Some phases of the project may require more frequent updates e.g. during critical milestones, while other times might warrant less frequent communication. Track engagement metrics. Consider using metrics such as meeting attendance, feedback response rates, or task completion rates to gauge the effectiveness of the communication plan. Low engagement could indicate that the frequency, channels, or content of communication needs to be adjusted. By regularly assessing and adjusting the communication plan, project managers can ensure it remains effective, responsive, and aligned with the hybrid workplace's dynamic needs. 7. Create a communication matrix. A communication matrix is a tool that outlines each stakeholder group, their preferred communication channels, the frequency of updates, and the specific types of information they require. It provides a visual summary of the communication plan, making it easy for project managers and team members to understand their roles in maintaining effective stakeholder communication. Key elements of a communication matrix include stakeholder name/group, identifies who the stakeholders are. Communication objectives, details what each interaction aims to achieve. Preferred channels, lists each group's preferred channels, e.g., email, video calls, instant messaging. Frequency of communication, specifies how often updates will be provided. Responsible party, assigns team members responsible for delivering updates to each stakeholder group. Using a communication matrix ensures that all team members have a clear understanding of the communication strategy, helping to maintain consistent stakeholder engagement across the hybrid environment. Conclusion: creating a communication plan for the hybrid workplace requires careful consideration of stakeholder needs, preferences, and potential barriers. By defining clear objectives, leveraging multiple communication channels, crafting consistent messaging, establishing feedback mechanisms, and regularly reviewing the plan, project managers can foster an inclusive communication environment that aligns all stakeholders with project goals. A thoughtful communication strategy not only keeps stakeholders informed, but also builds trust, encourages collaboration, and drives project success in today's hybrid workplace. Section 2: Communication Challenges in Hybrid Environment. Technological disparities describe how access to different tools, high-speed internet, collaboration platforms, can create barriers. Physical vs. virtual presence explore the impact of mixed physical and virtual presence, including the proximity bias, where in-person team members may be perceived as more involved. Information overload and miscommunication discuss the challenge of managing overwhelming information flows across multiple platforms and avoiding misunderstandings. Let's take a look at each one of them. Hybrid workplaces, where teams are split between remote and in-office settings, bring unique communication challenges. These challenges impact team cohesion, project success, and stakeholder relationships. Recognizing and addressing these obstacles is essential to ensure clear, consistent, and effective communication across both remote and in-person stakeholders. Here are some common challenges and strategies to overcome them. 1. Misalignment of communication styles and preferences. In a hybrid setting, team members and stakeholders have different communication preferences, depending on whether they're remote or on-site. Remote workers may prefer asynchronous tools, like email or project management software, while in-office employees might rely more on face-to-face or synchronous communication. This divergence can lead to misunderstandings or missed information if communication styles aren't harmonized. Strategies. Survey stakeholders. Regularly ask stakeholders about their preferred communication methods and styles. Develop a blended approach. Use a mix of synchronous and asynchronous channels, such as project management tools for updates and video calls for collaborative discussions. Set clear expectations. Establish and communicate expectations for response times, meeting formats, and documentation to keep everyone aligned. 2. Information gaps and silos. Information silos arise when certain teams or individuals have access to critical project information, while others do not. In hybrid environments, these silos can be exacerbated by location-based interactions, where in-office employees might receive updates in informal hallway conversations that don't reach remote team members. Strategies. Use centralized communication platforms. Implement project management and communication tools like Slack, Microsoft Teams, or Asana, where information can be accessible to all team members in real time. Establish a documentation culture, Encourage everyone to document and share key information from meetings or informal discussions, ensuring remote team members stay informed. Institute regular check-ins. Frequent team and one-on-one check-ins help prevent information gaps, with managers ensuring all team members receive the same updates. 3. Overcommunication or undercommunication. In a hybrid workplace, it's easy to overcommunicate, causing information overload, or undercommunicate, leading to knowledge gaps. Finding the right balance is crucial, because too much information can lead to disengagement, while too little can leave team members feeling out of the loop. Strategies. Define communication cadence. Set regular intervals for updates. E.g., weekly summaries, monthly milestones, to avoid flooding inboxes with excessive information. Segment audiences. Tailor communication based on the relevance to each stakeholder group to prevent information overload. For instance, detailed project reports might only go to primary stakeholders. Encourage conciseness. Encourage all team members to keep messages concise, focusing on essential points and using bullet points or summaries for quick reading. 4. Inconsistent access to technology. Different team members may have access to varying levels of technology or equipment, which can impact their ability to communicate effectively. For instance, remote team members may lack high-quality video conferencing equipment, while on-site members might have more robust setups, creating disparities in meeting experiences and interactions. Strategies. Standardize communication tools. Provide all team members with access to the same communication platforms, such as video conferencing tools, instant messaging apps, and project management software. Offer technology support. Ensure that remote employees have the necessary equipment, such as webcams, microphones, and reliable internet connections, to engage fully in meetings. Encourage inclusive meeting practices. Avoid using physical tools like whiteboards in meetings without digital alternatives, and prioritize virtual collaboration tools to ensure inclusivity. 5. Building and maintaining team cohesion. Maintaining a sense of unity and collaboration across remote and in-office teams can be difficult. Hybrid environments can create a them vs. us mentality, where in-office employees feel more connected, while remote employees may feel isolated or disengaged. This divide can reduce team morale and impact productivity. Strategies. Implement team building activities. Organize regular team building activities that involve both remote and in-office team members, such as virtual games, hybrid workshops, or collaborative projects. Encourage cross-location collaboration. Assign project teams that include a mix of remote and on-site members to foster a collaborative culture. Prioritize transparency. Share company news, team successes, and recognition equally across locations to promote a unified team identity. 6. Misinterpretation of tone and intent. In written communications, especially emails and chat messages, tone and intent can easily be misinterpreted. In hybrid settings, where communication often occurs in text form, the absence of facial expressions and vocal cues can lead to misunderstandings, conflict, or unintended offense. Strategies. Use video for sensitive topics. Opt for video calls for complex or sensitive discussions where tone and body language are crucial to understanding. Encourage empathy in written communication. Guide team members to use clear language, emojis, or clarifying statements to convey tone and intent. Promote open feedback. Establish a culture where team members feel comfortable asking for clarification if they are uncertain about the tone or meaning behind a message. 7. Scheduling challenges across time zones. Hybrid work setups often mean teams are spread across various time zones, making it difficult to schedule meetings and communicate in real time. When certain team members are frequently asked to attend meetings outside their regular working hours, it can lead to burnout and reduced engagement. Strategies. Adopt asynchronous communication practices. Utilize tools that allow for asynchronous updates, so team members in different time zones can participate without needing to attend live meetings. Rotate meeting times when live meetings are necessary. Rotate meeting times to distribute the inconvenience fairly among time zones. Record meetings. Share recordings and notes of key meetings to keep everyone informed, regardless of their ability to attend live. 8. Ensuring consistency in messaging. In hybrid environments, it's common for information to be interpreted differently depending on how it's delivered. In office, employees may hear about updates firsthand and have the opportunity to ask clarifying questions, while remote employees might receive only summarized information, leading to inconsistencies in understanding. Strategies. Standardize information distribution. Use a single source of truth, such as a project management tool or internal portal, where all information is documented and accessible. Repeat key messages. Reinforce important messages across different channels, e.g., email, instant messages, virtual meetings, to ensure consistent understanding. Use visual aids. Leverage visual aids like flowcharts or diagrams in presentations and updates to support consistent interpretation across remote and in-office teams. Conclusion. Navigating communication challenges in hybrid workplaces requires awareness, adaptability, and strategic planning. By implementing structured communication plans, embracing a blend of synchronous and asynchronous methods, and fostering inclusivity across diverse work settings, project managers can mitigate the inherent obstacles of hybrid communication. An intentional focus on overcoming these challenges helps to build a unified, cohesive environment where stakeholders remain informed, engaged, and aligned regardless of where they work. Section 3. Strategies for effective stakeholder communication in hybrid settings. Clear communication channels. Establish dedicated channels for different communication types, e.g., updates, decision-making, feedback. Use tools like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and project management software to centralize communication. Scheduled Vs. On-demand communication. Schedule regular check-ins to provide structured opportunities for feedback. Allow flexibility for on-demand communication, accommodating both urgent needs and casual, spontaneous exchanges. Setting expectations and communication protocols. Define when and how different stakeholders should be contacted. Establish communication norms, like response times and preferred mediums, to avoid misalignment. Let's take a look at each one of them. Strategies for effective stakeholder communication in hybrid settings. In hybrid work environments, effective communication with stakeholders, both remote and in person, is critical for project success. The blend of different working styles and locations can complicate interactions, but with the right strategies, project managers can foster clear, inclusive, and engaging communication. Here are some key strategies to enhance stakeholder communication in hybrid settings. 1. Establish clear communication guidelines. Creating and enforcing communication guidelines helps set expectations for all team members and stakeholders. This includes specifying how and when different communication channels should be used, and what information should be shared through each. Actions. Define communication channels. Designate which platforms are used for various types of communication, e.g., email for formal updates, instant messaging for quick questions. Outline response time expectations. Set clear guidelines on expected response times for different communication channels. Create a communication matrix. Develop a visual reference that outlines who to contact for specific issues, ensuring clarity on roles and responsibilities. 2. Leverage technology for collaboration. Utilizing technology effectively can bridge the gap between remote and in-office stakeholders. Choose tools that promote collaboration, information sharing, and accessibility for everyone involved. Actions. Adopt collaboration tools. Use platforms like Microsoft Teams, Slack, or Zoom to facilitate real-time communication and collaboration. Utilize project management software. Tools like Asana, Trello, or Monday.com can help keep everyone updated on project status, deadlines, and responsibilities. Encourage shared documentation. Implement cloud-based tools like Google Drive or SharePoint to allow real-time access to documents, ensuring that all stakeholders are on the same page. 3. Foster inclusivity in meetings. Meetings are crucial for stakeholder engagement, and it's important to ensure that both remote and in-person participants can contribute equally. This fosters a sense of belonging and encourages open dialogue. Actions. Use video conferencing. Always use video for meetings to create a more personal connection and to ensure that remote participants can engage effectively. Rotate meeting times. Schedule meetings at varying times to accommodate different time zones and availability, ensuring equitable participation. Solicit input from all participants. Encourage contributions from both remote and in-office attendees by directly asking for feedback or opinions from each group. 4. Encourage regular check-ins. Regular check-ins with stakeholders help maintain open lines of communication and foster relationship building. These interactions can help clarify expectations, address concerns, and provide updates on project progress. Actions. Implement weekly or bi-weekly meetings. Schedule regular catch-ups to discuss project status, address challenges, and celebrate successes. Conduct one-on-one check-ins. Schedule periodic one-on-one meetings with key stakeholders to build rapport and understand their concerns. Create feedback loops. Encourage stakeholders to share their thoughts on the project and the communication process to identify areas for improvement. 5. Utilize clear and concise messaging. In hybrid settings, the potential for miscommunication is heightened. Therefore, clarity and conciseness in messaging are essential to ensure that information is understood by all stakeholders. Actions. Use plain language, avoid jargon and complex terms that might confuse stakeholders. Strive for clear and straightforward language. Summarize key points. Use bullet points or numbered lists to highlight essential information, making it easy for stakeholders to digest. Reinforce important messages. Repeat critical messages through various channels, e.g., in meetings, emails, and documentation to reinforce understanding. 6. Prioritize relationship building. Establishing strong relationships with stakeholders can enhance trust and communication effectiveness. When stakeholders feel valued, they are more likely to engage actively and provide constructive feedback. Actions. Take time for personal connections. Make an effort to learn about stakeholders' interests, preferences, and work styles, which can help personalize communication. Celebrate milestones and achievements. Recognize and celebrate project milestones and individual contributions to foster a sense of accomplishment and community. Facilitate informal interactions. Organize virtual coffee breaks or social events that allow team members to interact informally and build relationships beyond work tasks. 7. Be adaptable and responsive. Flexibility is key in hybrid settings, as stakeholder needs and circumstances may change. Being adaptable allows project managers to respond effectively to shifting dynamics and requirements. Actions. Monitor engagement levels. Pay attention to how stakeholders respond to various communication methods and adjust approaches as needed. Solicit regular feedback. Ask for input on communication effectiveness, and be willing to make changes based on stakeholder preferences. Stay open to new technologies. Be willing to explore new communication tools and technologies that could enhance stakeholder engagement and collaboration. 8. Document and share information transparently. Transparency in communication helps build trust and ensures that stakeholders are well informed about project progress, changes, and expectations. Actions: create regular status updates, distribute weekly or bi-weekly project updates summarizing progress, upcoming tasks, and any changes in direction. Maintain accessible records, keep project documentation organized and easily accessible to all stakeholders, promoting transparency and accountability. Encourage stakeholder contributions. Allow stakeholders to contribute to documentation or project plans, fostering a sense of ownership and engagement. Conclusion: effective stakeholder communication in hybrid settings requires intentionality, adaptability, and a commitment to inclusivity. By establishing clear guidelines, leveraging technology, fostering relationships, and prioritizing transparency, project managers can enhance communication with stakeholders, ultimately leading to improved project outcomes and stakeholder satisfaction. With these strategies in place, teams can navigate the complexities of hybrid work and build a cohesive environment where every voice is heard and valued. Section 4: Tools and Technology for Hybrid Communication. Selecting the right tools for your stakeholders provide an overview of tools suited to hybrid communication, categorized by function, e.g., messaging, project tracking, video conferencing. Leveraging collaborative platforms. Discuss the benefits of using collaboration tools like Asana, Trello, and Miro for virtual collaboration. Share tips on using shared documents and dashboards to improve transparency. Managing digital fatigue. Offer strategies to minimize screen time, such as using voice messages, offline workdays, and encouraging phone calls instead of video calls when appropriate. Let's take a look at each one of them. Tools and technology for hybrid communication. Effective communication in hybrid environments hinges on the right tools and technologies that facilitate collaboration, streamline workflows, and enhance stakeholder engagement. Below are various categories of tools and specific examples that can help project managers and teams communicate effectively across both remote and in-office settings. 1. Communication platforms. These tools enable real-time messaging, video conferencing, and voice calls, allowing teams to stay connected regardless of location. Slack, a popular instant messaging platform that supports team channels, direct messaging, and integration with other tools. It allows for both synchronous and asynchronous communication. Microsoft Teams, an all-in-one platform that combines chat, video conferencing, and collaboration tools. It's particularly effective for organizations already using Microsoft Office products. Zoom, a widely used video conferencing tool that supports virtual meetings, webinars, and screen sharing, making it ideal for both large and small team gatherings. 2. Project management tools. These platforms help teams organize tasks, track progress, and collaborate on projects, ensuring that everyone stays aligned and informed. Asana, a task management tool that allows teams to create, assign, and track tasks in a visual format. It offers project timelines, calendars, and status updates. Trello, a flexible, visual project management tool that uses boards, lists, and cards to help teams organize and prioritize tasks. It's great for collaborative workflows. Monday.com, a work operating system that enables teams to build custom workflows, manage projects, and communicate all in one place. Its versatility makes it suitable for various project types. 3. Document collaboration tools. These tools facilitate real-time document editing and sharing, ensuring that team members can collaborate on files regardless of their location. Google Workspace, formerly G Suite, a suite of productivity tools including Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, which allow for real-time collaboration and sharing among team members. Microsoft 365 offers similar functionality to Google Workspace, with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint available for collaborative editing and cloud-based access. Notion, a versatile tool for note-taking, task management, and project documentation that enables real-time collaboration and sharing among team members. 4. Feedback and survey tools. Gathering feedback is crucial for continuous improvement in communication and project processes. These tools help teams collect insights from stakeholders effectively. SurveyMonkey, a robust survey tool that allows teams to create custom surveys to gather feedback on communication effectiveness, project satisfaction, and stakeholder engagement. Google Forms, a simple, free tool for creating surveys and collecting responses that can easily be analyzed in Google Sheets. Typeform, an engaging survey tool that allows for interactive form creation, making it easy to gather feedback while maintaining a user-friendly experience. 5. Virtual whiteboards and collaboration tools. These platforms simulate in-person brainstorming sessions and allow teams to collaborate visually, regardless of their physical location. Miro, a digital whiteboard that enables teams to brainstorm, plan, and collaborate visually. It includes templates for brainstorming sessions, user story mapping, and more. Mural, similar to Miro. Mural provides a collaborative workspace for visual thinking, allowing teams to create diagrams, mind maps, and brainstorming boards. Jamboard, a digital interactive whiteboard from Google that facilitates collaborative brainstorming and project planning. 6. Time management and scheduling tools. Managing time zones and scheduling meetings can be challenging in hybrid environments. These tools help streamline the scheduling process. Calendly, a scheduling tool that allows users to share their availability and let others book meetings without back-and-forth emails. Doodle, a tool that helps teams find the best meeting times by allowing participants to indicate their availability, making it easier to coordinate schedules. World Time Buddy, an easy-to-use tool for comparing time zones and scheduling meetings across different regions, ensuring all team members can participate. 7. Employee engagement and recognition platforms. These tools promote a positive workplace culture by facilitating recognition, engagement, and communication among team members. Bonusly, an employee recognition platform that allows team members to recognize each other's contributions with points that can be redeemed for rewards. Trello. While primarily a project management tool, Trello can be used to celebrate team achievements by creating a board dedicated to recognition and milestones. Office Vibe, a platform for measuring employee engagement, collecting feedback, and promoting team recognition and communication. Conclusion. Selecting the right tools and technology is crucial for effective communication in hybrid environments. By leveraging communication platforms, project management tools, document collaboration software, feedback mechanisms, and employee engagement solutions, project managers can enhance collaboration, ensure clarity, and foster a cohesive team culture. Implementing these tools thoughtfully will help teams navigate the complexities of hybrid work and maintain strong stakeholder relationships. Section 5. Building trust and engagement with hybrid stakeholders. Creating a transparent communication culture emphasizes the importance of transparency in a hybrid setting, including proactive updates and open information sharing, practicing empathy and active listening. Explain the importance of empathy, especially for remote stakeholders who may feel less engaged. Provide tips for active listening and how to show attentiveness across digital channels. Inclusive communication practices share techniques for fostering inclusivity, such as ensuring remote participants are as involved as in-person stakeholders during meetings. Let's take a look at each one of them. Building trust and engagement with hybrid stakeholders. Establishing trust and engagement with stakeholders in hybrid work environments is crucial for project success. Stakeholders who feel valued and heard are more likely to contribute positively to projects and collaborate effectively. Three fundamental approaches can help achieve this: creating a transparent communication culture, practicing empathy and active listening, and implementing inclusive communication practices. 1. Creating a transparent communication culture. Transparency in communication fosters trust among stakeholders by ensuring everyone has access to relevant information and understands decision-making processes. A transparent culture encourages open dialogue, reduces misunderstandings, and enhances collaboration. Strategies. Share information freely. Provide stakeholders with regular updates on project status, challenges, and changes. Use various channels such as newsletters, emails, and meetings to ensure everyone stays informed. Be honest about challenges. Communicate openly about any obstacles or setbacks the project faces. Admitting difficulties fosters trust and invites collaborative problem-solving rather than hiding issues that could lead to bigger problems later. Establish open channels for feedback. Encourage stakeholders to share their thoughts and concerns. Create formal channels for feedback, like surveys or suggestion boxes, and informal ones, like open-door policies or regular check-ins. Act on the feedback received to demonstrate that stakeholder input is valued. Document and share decisions. When key decisions are made, document the rationale and share it with all stakeholders. This helps everyone understand the reasoning behind decisions and reinforces a culture of openness. 2. Practicing empathy and active listening. Empathy and active listening are vital components of effective communication. They help project managers and stakeholders understand each other's perspectives and foster an environment of respect and collaboration. Strategies. Encourage open dialogue. Create an environment where stakeholders feel safe expressing their thoughts and concerns. Encourage questions and provide space for discussion in meetings, ensuring everyone feels heard. Practice active listening. When engaging with stakeholders, demonstrate that you are actively listening. This can be achieved through verbal affirmations, such as "I see" or "I understand," and nonverbal cues, like nodding and maintaining eye contact. Avoid interrupting and instead, allow stakeholders to finish their thoughts before responding. Acknowledge emotions, recognize and validate the feelings of stakeholders. Whether they are excited about a project or frustrated with challenges, acknowledging emotions can strengthen relationships and build trust. Follow up on conversations after discussions. Follow up with stakeholders to show that their input is valued. Summarize key points discussed and outline any actions taken as a result of their feedback. 3. Inclusive communication practices. Inclusive communication ensures that all stakeholders feel welcomed, respected, and able to contribute to discussions. By valuing diverse perspectives, project managers can enhance creativity and foster a sense of belonging. Strategies. Adapt communication styles. Different stakeholders may have varying communication preferences. Some may prefer written communication, while others favor verbal discussions. Be flexible in your approach and adapt your communication style to meet the needs of your audience. Utilize multiple channels. Leverage various communication channels to reach all stakeholders effectively. This includes emails, virtual meetings, collaborative platforms, and social media. Ensure that information is accessible to all, regardless of their location or communication preferences. Encourage diverse participation. Actively invite participation from all stakeholders, particularly those who may be quieter or less confident in group settings. Use techniques such as round-robin questioning or small breakout groups to ensure everyone has an opportunity to contribute. Cultural sensitivity. Be aware of cultural differences among stakeholders, especially in hybrid settings, where team members may come from diverse backgrounds. Respect cultural norms and practices in communication to create a more inclusive environment. Conclusion. Building trust and engagement with hybrid stakeholders requires a proactive approach to communication. By fostering a transparent communication culture, practicing empathy and active listening, and implementing inclusive communication practices, project managers can create an environment where all stakeholders feel valued and engaged. These strategies not only enhance collaboration, but also contribute to successful project outcomes and a positive organizational culture. In hybrid work environments, where physical distance can create challenges, these practices are essential for maintaining strong stakeholder relationships and driving project success. Section 6. Adapting communication styles for diverse stakeholder groups. Customizing communication based on stakeholder types explain how to vary communication for executives, team members, and external partners in a hybrid setup. Cultural and geographical sensitivities highlight how cultural and geographic differences can influence communication, especially when team members are globally dispersed. Balancing formality and informality discuss when to use formal updates versus informal check-ins to keep engagement high without overloading stakeholders. Let's take a look at each one of them. Adapting communication styles for diverse stakeholder groups. Effective communication is pivotal in stakeholder management, especially in hybrid environments, where stakeholders may have varying backgrounds, preferences, and expectations. Adapting communication styles to suit diverse stakeholder groups not only enhances understanding, but also fosters collaboration and engagement. This can be achieved through three primary approaches: customizing communication based on stakeholder types, being aware of cultural and geographical sensitivities, and balancing formality and informality. 1. Customizing communication based on stakeholder types. Understanding the different stakeholder types and their communication preferences is crucial for effective engagement. Each stakeholder group may have specific needs and expectations, which can influence how information should be conveyed. Strategies. Identify stakeholder categories. Stakeholders can be categorized into groups such as executives, team members, clients, vendors, and regulatory bodies. Each group may have distinct information needs and communication styles. Tailor messaging. Customize the content and tone of communication based on the stakeholder group. For example, executives provide concise, high-level summaries that focus on strategic implications and key outcomes. Use data-driven insights and visuals to convey information efficiently. Team members share detailed information, including project tasks, timelines, and responsibilities. Encourage open dialogue and feedback to promote collaboration. Clients use customer-centric language that highlights how your project or solution meets their needs. Maintain a positive tone and provide updates on project status and deliverables. Vendors establish clear expectations and requirements. Use straightforward language to avoid misunderstandings about contractual obligations and deliverables. Utilize appropriate channels. Different stakeholders may prefer various communication channels. Choose the most suitable method for each group. Email, good for formal communication with clients or executives. Instant messaging, effective for quick updates or informal discussions with team members. Video conferencing, ideal for discussions with clients or remote team members to foster personal connection. 2. Cultural and geographical sensitivities. In a globalized world, understanding cultural and geographical sensitivities is essential for effective communication. Differences in cultural norms, values, and communication styles can significantly impact stakeholder interactions. Strategies. Research cultural differences. Familiarize yourself with the cultural backgrounds of your stakeholders. Understand how cultural factors may influence communication styles, decision-making processes, and preferences for directness or indirectness. Respect time zones. In hybrid environments with geographically diverse stakeholders, be mindful of time zones when scheduling meetings or sending communications. Use scheduling tools to find mutually convenient times and avoid inconvenience. Be aware of language nuances. If stakeholders speak different languages, ensure clarity in communication. Avoid jargon, idioms, or cultural references that may not translate well. Consider using professional translators for important documents or meetings if needed. Practice cultural sensitivity. Show respect for different customs and practices. This may involve adapting your communication style to align with cultural norms, such as using formal greetings in certain cultures, or understanding the significance of specific holidays. 3. Balancing formality and informality. Striking the right balance between formal and informal communication is essential in hybrid environments. The level of formality can impact how messages are perceived and the overall rapport with stakeholders. Strategies. Assess the context. Consider the context of the communication when determining the appropriate level of formality. Formal communication may be necessary for initial introductions, contractual discussions, or sensitive topics, while informal communication can foster relationships and encourage open dialogue. Adapt based on stakeholder comfort. Some stakeholders may prefer a more formal approach, while others may appreciate a casual tone. Pay attention to cues from stakeholders regarding their communication preferences and adjust accordingly. Establish clear boundaries. While informality can enhance rapport, it's important to maintain professionalism in business communications. Avoid overly casual language or humor that may not be well received by all stakeholders. Use hybrid communication in hybrid settings. Consider incorporating both formal and informal elements in your communications. For instance, a formal presentation can be followed by an informal cue and a session, allowing stakeholders to engage comfortably. Conclusion. Adapting communication styles for diverse stakeholder groups is essential for effective engagement and collaboration, particularly in hybrid environments. By customizing communication based on stakeholder types, being sensitive to cultural and geographical factors, and balancing formality with informality, project managers can foster stronger relationships and enhance project outcomes. Ultimately, recognizing and respecting the diverse needs of stakeholders will contribute to a more inclusive and productive communication environment, paving the way for successful project delivery. Section 7. Overcoming common hybrid communication pitfalls. Avoiding out-of-sight, out-of-mind bias explains strategies for keeping remote stakeholders involved and ensuring they feel part of the decision-making process. Dealing with conflict and misunderstandings. Provide techniques for handling misunderstandings due to lack of in-person cues. Discuss conflict resolution in a hybrid context, emphasizing neutrality and understanding both in-person and remote perspectives. Ensuring accountability and follow-up. Share best practices for maintaining accountability, including action tracking, documented follow-ups, and recap emails after meetings. Let's take a look at each one of them. Overcoming common hybrid communication pitfalls. In hybrid work environments, effective communication is crucial for maintaining collaboration and productivity among remote and in-office stakeholders. However, several common pitfalls can hinder communication and lead to misunderstandings, disengagement, and inefficiencies. This section explores strategies for overcoming these challenges, specifically focusing on avoiding the out-of-sight, out-of-mind bias, dealing with conflict and misunderstandings, and ensuring accountability and follow-up. 1. Avoiding out-of-sight, out-of-mind bias. The out-of-sight, out-of-mind phenomenon occurs when team members working remotely feel overlooked or undervalued due to their physical absence from the office. This can lead to disengagement and a lack of collaboration. Strategies. Regular check-ins. Schedule frequent one-on-one and team check-ins to ensure all team members, regardless of their location, feel included. Use video conferencing tools to create a more personal connection during these interactions. Create a virtual water cooler. Establish informal channels for social interaction, such as virtual coffee breaks or team-building activities. This fosters a sense of community and allows remote team members to connect with their in-office counterparts. Highlight remote contributions, recognize and celebrate the achievements and contributions of remote team members in team meetings and communications. This can help counteract feelings of isolation and reinforce their value to the team. Use collaboration tools. Leverage collaborative platforms that enable real-time updates and visibility into project progress. Tools like Asana, Trello, or Microsoft Teams can help keep everyone in the loop, regardless of their location. 2. Dealing with conflict and misunderstandings. In hybrid settings, miscommunication can easily lead to conflicts and misunderstandings, particularly when team members rely heavily on digital communication. Addressing these issues proactively is essential for maintaining a positive working environment. Strategies. Encourage open communication. Foster an environment where team members feel comfortable expressing their concerns and conflicts. Encourage open dialogue by establishing clear communication protocols and creating safe spaces for discussions. Address issues promptly. When conflicts arise, address them as soon as possible to prevent escalation. Use empathetic communication techniques, such as active listening, to ensure all parties feel heard and understood. Clarify expectations. Clearly outline roles, responsibilities, and expectations in project communications. This can help prevent misunderstandings and ensure everyone is on the same page regarding their contributions. Utilize mediation when necessary. If conflicts persist, consider using a neutral third party or mediator to facilitate discussions. This can provide an objective perspective and help resolve issues more effectively. 3. Ensuring accountability and follow-up. In hybrid environments, maintaining accountability and ensuring follow-up can be challenging, especially when team members are working in different locations. Effective strategies are necessary to keep everyone accountable for their tasks and commitments. Strategies. Set clear goals and deadlines. Establish clear, measurable goals and deadlines for projects and tasks. Use project management tools to track progress and ensure everyone knows what is expected of them. Use action items and recaps after meetings. Summarize key discussion points, decisions made, and action items assigned to team members. Share these recaps with all participants to reinforce accountability. Regular progress updates. Schedule regular updates to review progress on tasks and projects. This provides an opportunity for team members to share challenges they may be facing and encourages collaboration to overcome obstacles. Create a culture of accountability. Foster a culture where team members take ownership of their responsibilities. Encourage self-reporting on progress and provide opportunities for feedback and support. Conclusion. Overcoming common communication pitfalls in hybrid environments requires proactive strategies that address the unique challenges of remote and in-office collaboration. By avoiding the out-of-sight, out-of-mind bias, addressing conflicts and misunderstandings promptly, and ensuring accountability and follow-up, project managers can foster a more cohesive and productive team dynamic. These approaches not only enhance communication, but also contribute to a positive organizational culture where all stakeholders feel valued and engaged, ultimately leading to better project outcomes. Section 8. Measuring communication effectiveness. Feedback mechanisms describe methods for gathering feedback on communication effectiveness from stakeholders. Assessing engagement metrics. Explain how to track engagement using metrics like response time, participation in meetings, and feedback rates. Use examples of tools and practices to gather quantitative and qualitative feedback. Continuous improvement of communication strategies emphasize the importance of evolving communication tactics based on feedback and changing needs. Let's take a look at each one of them. In today's hybrid work environment, effective communication is paramount for ensuring collaboration, alignment, and overall productivity among diverse teams. To gauge how well communication strategies are performing, organizations must establish robust measurement systems that include feedback mechanisms, engagement metrics, and a commitment to continuous improvement. This approach enables project managers and leaders to identify strengths and weaknesses in communication practices and make data-informed adjustments that enhance team dynamics and project outcomes. 1. Feedback mechanisms. Feedback mechanisms provide valuable insights into how stakeholders perceive communication efforts. Regularly gathering feedback ensures that communication strategies are responsive to the needs and preferences of team members. Strategies. Surveys and questionnaires. Develop and distribute surveys to assess stakeholder satisfaction with communication practices. Focus on key areas such as clarity, timeliness, and accessibility of information. Include both quantitative questions, e.g. rating scales, and qualitative open-ended questions to gather comprehensive feedback. Regular check-ins. Schedule one-on-one meetings with team members to solicit direct feedback on communication effectiveness. These personalized discussions encourage honest conversations and can reveal specific concerns or areas for improvement. Anonymous feedback tools. Utilize anonymous feedback tools to allow stakeholders to share their thoughts without fear of repercussion. This can lead to more candid responses and a clearer picture of communication strengths and weaknesses. Feedback on meeting effectiveness. After meetings, gather quick feedback regarding their effectiveness. Questions can include whether the meeting objectives were met, if participants felt heard, and how communication can be improved for future meetings. 2. Assessing engagement metrics. Engagement metrics provide objective data on how well stakeholders are interacting with communication efforts. By analyzing these metrics, project managers can identify trends and areas for enhancement. Strategies. Monitor participation rates. Track participation in meetings, webinars, and other communication forums. Low attendance rates may indicate that communication methods need to be adjusted or that the content needs to be more engaging. Analyze response times. Measure how quickly team members respond to messages or emails. Slow response times may suggest a lack of clarity or urgency in communication that should be addressed. Evaluate collaboration tool usage. Use analytics from collaboration platforms e.g. Microsoft Teams, Slack, or Asana to assess how frequently team members are utilizing these tools for communication. High engagement can indicate effective communication practices, while low usage may signal barriers that need to be overcome. Survey engagement levels. Incorporate questions about engagement levels in surveys. Ask stakeholders how frequently they interact with communication materials, attend meetings, or participate in discussions. Monitor project milestones. Analyze project progress against established milestones. Consistent delays or missed deadlines may highlight communication gaps or misunderstandings that need to be addressed. 3. Continuous improvement of communication strategies. Measuring communication effectiveness is not a one-time activity. It requires an ongoing commitment to refine and enhance strategies based on feedback and metrics. Continuous improvement fosters a culture of adaptability and responsiveness within the organization. Strategies. Regularly review feedback. Set a schedule to review feedback and engagement data periodically. Analyze trends over time to identify persistent issues or improvements in communication effectiveness. Pilot new communication initiatives. Experiment with new communication methods or tools based on stakeholder input. Implement pilot programs for a set period, gather feedback, and evaluate their impact before making permanent changes. Set communication goals. Establish specific, measurable goals for communication effectiveness, e.g. improving response times by 20% within 6 months. Monitor progress toward these goals and adjust strategies as needed. Provide ongoing training. Offer training sessions on effective communication practices, such as active listening, conflict resolution, and utilizing digital collaboration tools. Empower team members with the skills they need to communicate effectively in hybrid settings. Foster a culture of open communication. Encourage team members to share their feedback and suggestions on communication practices regularly. Creating a safe space for dialogue will help build trust and facilitate ongoing improvements. Celebrate successes and learn from failures. Acknowledge and celebrate successful communication initiatives to reinforce positive behaviors. When challenges arise, conduct post-mortem analyses to extract valuable lessons and adjust strategies accordingly. Conclusion: measuring communication effectiveness in hybrid environments is essential for fostering collaboration, engagement, and productivity. By implementing robust feedback mechanisms, assessing engagement metrics, and committing to continuous improvement, organizations can enhance their communication strategies to meet the evolving needs of their teams. This proactive approach not only improves communication practices, but also contributes to a more inclusive and productive work culture, ultimately driving project success and organizational growth. Conclusion: recap of key points summarize the essential strategies for effective stakeholder communication in a hybrid environment. The ongoing evolution of hybrid communication. Discuss how hybrid communication will continue to evolve and encourage project managers to remain adaptable. Call to action: encourage project managers to implement one new communication practice and seek feedback to continuously refine their approach. Let's take a look at each one of them. Effective communication in hybrid environments is crucial for fostering collaboration, maintaining engagement, and driving project success. As organizations continue to adapt to the hybrid work model, understanding how to measure and enhance communication effectiveness will play a vital role in achieving these objectives. Recap of key points. Feedback mechanisms. Establishing robust feedback systems such as surveys, one-on-one check-ins, and focus groups enables project managers to gather valuable insights into stakeholder perceptions of communication practices. This input is essential for identifying areas for improvement. Assessing engagement metrics by monitoring participation rates, response times, and usage analytics from collaboration tools, organizations can gain objective insights into how well communication strategies resonate with team members. This data allows for the identification of trends and necessary adjustments. Continuous improvement of communication strategies. Organizations must commit to ongoing refinement of communication approaches based on collected feedback and engagement metrics. This includes regularly reviewing performance, piloting new initiatives, setting clear communication goals, and fostering a culture of open dialogue. The ongoing evolution of hybrid communication. As hybrid work continues to evolve, so too must communication practices. The landscape of work is changing, with new technologies and methodologies emerging to support effective collaboration across diverse teams. Organizations must remain agile, adapting their communication strategies to meet the changing needs and preferences of stakeholders. This adaptability will ensure that communication remains effective, inclusive, and impactful in fostering collaboration and driving project success. Call to action. To thrive in a hybrid work environment, project managers and organizational leaders must prioritize the measurement and enhancement of communication effectiveness. Start by implementing feedback mechanisms to gather insights from your teams. Analyze engagement metrics to assess current communication practices and commit to continuous improvement. Engage your team in this process, fostering a culture where everyone feels empowered to contribute to communication strategies. Together, let's create a hybrid workplace where effective communication leads to greater collaboration, increased engagement, and successful project outcomes. Your proactive efforts in mastering stakeholder communication will not only benefit your projects, but will also contribute to a more inclusive and dynamic organizational culture.